Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashyah and to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth. Today I bring you the new moon report. It was sighted, okay? At this time, the West was able to see it before the East. Right now, the East results are pending, okay? So the new moon crescent was seen on January the 28th at sundown. So here is a photo of the Most High calendar, and we're going to come back and review this photo. But let's look at the witnesses' report so far. So I went to renewmoon.com, and so far, these are the following areas that were able to see it. Blacksburg, Virginia, which is under, the website that is under is Truth of Yahuwah. Then you have the next area that saw it was New Summerfield, Texas. And that website is, again, Truth of Yahuwah, okay? At this time, there has not been no new moon report from Israel, and that's a reason for that, my people, and we're going to talk about that too, okay? Now, here's another witness. He is on YouTube. And the title of his video is New Moon Day Report / Sabbath for February 2017. You can take a look at his video. But I found another video that can actually give you the picture of the new moon, because the problem with this new moon, it was very close to the horizon. And the illumination was probably around about 1%. So you really had to find a very good area where the horizon, in other words, you have to find a very good area where you have no obstruction and the land is like low. So that way you can see the new moon, because the new moon is close to the horizon. So we're going to play his video first. It's only about 35 seconds.
Shalom, Saints. Today is Saturday, January 28th, 2017 at roughly 6:47 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you look over my left shoulder, the new moon has been spotted. This one was a tricky one because this month it was hard to spot it. Well, actually, the moon was...
Okay. It keeps fading in and out of the video, but that new moon was seen here. And I'm sorry that I interrupt him. Okay.
Was out at the latter part of the day. So those who are in the eastern countries would not have spotted the moon. Nevertheless, excuse me, today is day one of the 11th biblical month, Savat. Thank you for watching Truth Table Ministries New Moon Report, and Shalom.
Okay. So let me go back and play that.
Shalom,
so you
Saints.
can really see the moon.
Is Saturday, January 28th, 2017 at roughly 6:47 p.m.
There you go. It's like I said, it's very hard to see because this new moon is really close to the horizon. Okay. So this video will also be in the description box so you can review. And this comes from Truth Table Ministries. Okay. Now, let's go to this website, because I also put the link of this article, and it's titled, Will You See the Young Moon Tonight? And this by earthsky.org. Okay. Now here's the thing about the moon. They said tonight, January the 28th, 2017 AD, a chance to see the young moon, a very slim crescent moon, very near the sunset glare, especially for us in America. It will probably be even slimmer and closer to the sunset than the moon photo at the top of this post by Ken Christieson. Okay. So what it's basically saying that to see this new moon crescent, you have to be at a very good location. You're going to have patience too. Also in this article, it has a great photo to give you an idea to understand what I'm talking about. And I'm going to minimize this just a little bit so you can see the description. Okay. It said here, if you look west after sunset on January the 28th, you will surely see the planet Venus. It's very bright, the brightest thing up there. The young moon will be much lower in the sky than Venus on January the 28th. So as you see, trying to look for the new moon crescent sometimes can be tricky. Okay. And there's one more thing in this article. Like I said, it's a pretty good article to see. Okay. So this next picture is showing you that in the next following day, which is January 29th, the new moon crescent will be a lot higher from the horizon. Okay. Well, you can see it there. All right. So if Israel did not see the new moon crescent on January 28th at sundown, then they should see it today. Okay. So let's go here. Let's find out what was going on with Israel. Now, today is January 29th, 2017, and the time in Israel, Arad, Israel, is at 3:47 p.m. in Israel time. Okay. So at this time, the moon is waxing about 2.9%. But let's take a look at the dark moon. Now, the dark moon was on January 28th at 2:07 a.m. Now, if you understand about the dark moon and its conjunction, and the conjunction is when you have the earth, the dark moon, and the sun in that particular alignment. So that phase occurred around 2:07 a.m. Now remember, in Hebrew time, or in for as regarded as what is a Hebrew day, as well as when does it begin and when does it end, this phase will fall on because 2:07 a.m. is before sundown. So this phase will fall on January the 27th to January the 28th. Now, when the moon is a dark moon, to see the new moon crescent, the earliest hours to see it is from 12.1 to 15 hours. So when I add 12 hours to 2:07 a.m., the moon should be start showing a new crescent after 2:07 p.m. So Israel should have enough time to see the new moon crescent. Okay. Let's also take a look at the moon rise and moon set times for Arad, Israel. Okay. So we're going to look at January the 28th. Okay. So like what the chart was telling us, the dark moon phase occurred way before 6:38 a.m. That was the time when the moon would be rising, but it'd be with the sun, and we would not be able to see it because the sun is blinding the moon. Okay. So this is why we can only see the new moon crescent at sundown, because that's when the sun is going down and you'll be able to get a glimpse of the new moon crescent before it disappears. Okay. So let's see what percent was the illumination when the moon reaches the meridian passing. So at 12:10 p.m. Israel time, the illumination was about 0.2%. So it could have been that when the moon set at 5:45 p.m., maybe the illumination was too low for Arad, Israel, to see the new moon crescent. Or it could be they couldn't see because it was just so low at the horizon. Okay. Now let's take a look at the West. All right. I'm going to use California, for example. Now, California is about 10 hours away from Israel. So again, they would give the West plenty of time to see the new moon crescent, especially when Israel couldn't see it. Okay. So on January the 28th, let me bring this up some so you can see it. The moon was rising at 7:15 a.m. and this is in Los Angeles, California. Now, when it reached the meridian passing at 12:45 p.m., right here, that's what I'm looking at, the illumination was at 0.8%. Therefore, California should have an excellent opportunity to see the new moon crescent at sundown, okay? Because the illumination would be a lot higher. And for those who also go to timeanddate.com, you can also look at Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is about 12 hours from Israel, okay? But I'm just using that for example so you can get understanding why Israel is not seeing the new moon. All right. Now, believe it or not, this is fulfilling prophecy by the prophet Enoch. Okay. So here's a photo of the Most High calendar. And as you can see, by putting in the moon phases helps you to understand the Most High Holy Calendar. Now, the Most High Holy Calendar is made up of the sun, the moon, and Mazzaroth. And Mazzaroth is the 12 signs, also known as the zodiac, also known as the 12-star constellation. Okay, so you have to have these three elements to understand the Most High calendar in the heavens. Okay, now we talked about the 10th month, so this video will be more focused on the 11th month. So again, the reason why Israel is not seeing the new moon at its appointed time is fulfilling the prophecy in Enoch. So in your spare time, read first Enoch chapter 80 and especially look at verse 4. Because it said in these days of the sinners that the moon shall not appear at her appointed time. Okay? Because the moon is manifesting herself to us to let us know that the true Hebrew Israelites are not in the Holy Land. So check the video description box for YAHUWAH prophetic message, for he tells you why. This is one of the signs that the Most High has given us to let us know that the true Hebrew Israelites are not in the land. And the Israelites are Negroes. And the children of Israel are Negroes, and their children are of Negro descent. In your spare time, study Deuteronomy chapter 28, Deuteronomy chapter 32, and Genesis chapter 10, and Genesis chapter 9, verse 27, to understand the mystery on why the Most High allowed Gentiles to assume the Hebrew Israelite land and their identity. Okay? So let's now get back to this calendar. So I'm going to blow this up so you can see more closely. And FYI, we are in the 4th season, which is winter. We did not have a solemn feast in this season because there's only 3 solemn feasts, which are Passover, Pentecost, and Feast of Tabernacle. So we didn't have a solemn feast in the winter season. Okay. Also, we are counting to our next Shemitah and Jubilee. The last Jubilee was in the year of 2015 to 2016 in the 7th month, started on the 10th day and ended on the 9th day. The last Shemitah was on 2014 to 2015 in the 7th month, started on the 10th day and ended on the 9th day. Read Leviticus chapter 25. Okay? So now let's blow this calendar up to take some look at the things in the 11th month. So that way you can see. Okay. So this is the 11th month, and our Hebrew year is from 2016 to 2017. I'm talking about from Abib to Adar. Okay. And the 11th month name is Shebat. And the pagan month that Shebat starts in is from January to February. Okay. And the reason I put a dash here because these 2 months don't fall in 2016. So I put a dash here and I put 2017 for the year. Now, I will explain about the sun entering Mazzaroth for the 11th sign. But when the sun enters Mazzaroth in the 11th sign, that is the total number of days for the 11th month. Okay? I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing. When the sun enters Mazzaroth, that's dealing with the 11th month that I'm looking at for the sun. And the total days for the 11th month of the sun is 29 days. And I will show you how I got this number because I want to explain it to you so you not be confused. So we'll come back to that part. Now, the Hebrew day starts from sundown to sundown. So this is why I tell you it's very important for you to keep a record and to write these things down, because if you try to do this in your head, you're going to get confused, because we've been so trained to the pagan calendar and its format. And also for those who don't agree with my calendar format, okay, well, you can get a plain pagan calendar that just have the days of the week, and you want to have at least about 5 line spaces. Well, 5 weeks blank spaces so you can put in your moon phases, because this is the reason why you need to keep up with the moon phases. It's very important, because now that we see that the moon is manifesting herself to us and not showing at her appointed time, we need to be able to identify that. Okay. And how you can identify that, you have to keep a record. All right. So on the first day of the new moon, the West was able to see it. Right now, the results are pending for Israel. And that started on January the 28th. That's the beginning of the day. And the end of the day would be January the 29th. So as you can see, I put in my Gregorian dates on this calendar so I would know when the day began and end. Because again, the problem with the pagan calendar is totally backwards from the Most High calendar. See, the Most High day begins from sundown to sundown. But in the pagan calendar, it begins from midnight to midnight. And for the days of the month, they are following the sun. But the Most High gave us the moon to be the days of our month. Do you see how this is working? So their calendar is totally opposite. They're not following the heavens. And this is why their calendar is fixed. And this is why their calendar do not align up with the heavens. Okay? So as you can see here, across this line here, I put in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and Sabbath. This is representing my week. Now below this line, I number the days of the moon. Like this is day 1 of the moon, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8 of the moon. That's very important. You'll see why. Also, my calendar, I let myself know when the next pagan month began, because again, our day starts from sundown to sundown. So therefore, our day will overlap into the pagan days. So February will begin on day 4 of the moon. Okay. So from sundown, January the 31st, to sundown, February the 1st. Okay. Now let's talk about these 4-quarter moon phases, which is very important. Okay. This is the waxing half moon. And you probably say, well, how was she able to know what day to plug it on the Most High calendar? This is how you know. Let's go back to timeanddate.com and look at these moon phases. So my half moon, which is called the first quarter in Arad, Israel, was on February the 4th. And that phase occurred at 6:18 a.m. Now you have to remember the moon is constantly moving. It don't stay in a fixed position. So these dates and time is giving you an idea when the moon is exactly 50% illuminated. So that moon phase of being 50% illuminated occur around 6:18 a.m. Okay, in Arad, Israel. So that time is before sundown. Therefore, this phase of the moon will fall from February the 3rd to February the 4th. So as you can see here, I put it on is going to be falling on day 6 of the lunar week, which fall on day 7 of the moon. And February the 3rd to the 4th falls on day 7. That's how I was able to do it. Now we're going to the second week of the lunar month, which is here. Now this is very important about the full moon. This is one of the tests you can do to make sure that the moon showed at its appointed time. The full moon can only fall on the 14th or 15th day. Now, when I say about full moon, I'm talking about when does the moon become 100% illuminated, okay? So for Arad Israel, it fell on the, based on the appointed time of the moon, it must fall on the 14th day of the moon, okay? And the Gregorian dates are February the 10th to February 11th. Here's the reason why. If Israel did not see the new moon crescent on January the 28th at sundown, then their full moon day would not fall on the 14th day. It's going to fall on the 13th day. Okay? Here's the reason why. If they was only able to see the new moon crescent on January the 29th at sundown, when you count from January the 29th to the day of the full moon, okay? And let me get that date for you. Which fall on February the 11th, okay? So if you count from January the 29th to February 11th, you're going to get 13 days, not 14, okay? So in other words, all these moon phases going to get pushed back a day, all right? So this is one of the tests you can use to make sure that the moon did show at her appointed time. It's very important, okay? Now, for the full moon date and time in Arad Israel, it was February 11th at 2:32 a.m. That was before sundown. Therefore, it's going to be from February the 10th to February 11th when the moon was 100% illuminated. Okay, so that's why I put that phase there. Now let's look at the third week of the moon. Okay, on the 21st day of the moon, the sun shall enter in the 12th sign of Mazzaroth. Okay, when the sun do that, and you have to read First Enoch to understand what this means. When the sun entered the 12th sign of Mazzaroth, that is the last day of the sun's 11th month. Okay, remember I was going to tell you that I'm going to explain what this means, sun-Mazzaroth number 11. Okay, so this is the last day of the sun 11th month. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, you said number 12. When you read Enoch, you will understand why. And also, when you're dealing with calendar whole days, you will understand that you can't split the day. You can't say part of it is the 11th month and part is the 12th month. It don't work like that. Okay? So this is the reason why when the sun entered the 12th sign of Mazzaroth, it is the last day of the sun 11th month. Okay? So this is how I was able to get the number of days for the sun 11th month. I had to count from the last time when the sun entered Mazzaroth. So those that watched the video about the 10th month will understand that. If you have not, I highly recommend that you go to my channel and look for the 10th month moon report. So this is how I was able to figure out the total number of days for the sun 11th month. Okay. So when the sun entered the 11th sign of Mazzaroth, that was the last day of the 10th month. So the first day of my 11th month would begin here. So I would count the days. This week is 7 days. So for me, I have a 30th day. Okay. So there'd be a total of 8 days. Then my first day of the new moon would make it a total of 9 days. Then I have a week here. 9 plus 7, 16. Then I have a week here. 16 plus 7 is 23. So 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So that's how I was able to figure out how many days the sun had for the 11th month. Now, I know what you think for those who have read Enoch, but you got to read 1st and 2nd Enoch, and you have to understand that now the sun year is 365 days for the first 3 years, and then it's every 4th year it becomes 366 days. Now I'm going to let you know, when the sun becomes 366, when the sun year become a total of 366 days, it would not occur in the year that the heathens say it would occur. Okay? Again, this is why it's important for you to keep a record. But to make a long story short, even though my sun is not 30 days right here, at the end of the year, when I add the total number of days of the sun, it would still equal 365 or 366. Okay? Now, in the 3rd week of the lunar month, we have the waning half moon. So let's go to this site to see what the time and date was on that. So the waning half moon is labeled the 3rd quarter. Okay? And that occurred on February the 18th at 9:33 p.m. in Arad, Israel. Now, this happened after sundown. So therefore, this phase of the moon, being 50% and waning, what date would be on our count from February the 18th to February the 19th. And to understand more about your sundown times from your area, you can also look at sunrise and sunset times and click on that link, because sometimes the moon phases can be close to the time when the sun is going down. You want to get an idea when this moon phase fall. However, we got a good example here and don't have to worry about that, because we know 9:33 p.m. is after sundown. Therefore, this phase of the moon will be from February the 18th to February 19th. So let's go back here. And as you can see, it falls on the 22nd day of the moon in the 3rd little week. And it's in the heathen date for our count will be from the 18th to the 19th. So in the 4th week of this lunar month, we have the last waning crescent to fall on the 28th day of the moon. And for the pagan date, it would be from February the 24th at sundown to February the 25th at sundown. Also, the dark moon phase will occur on the 29th day of the moon. Therefore, it falls on the pagan dates from February the 25th at sundown to February the 26th at sundown. So let me get you that time of that dark moon. So that dark moon date is February the 26th at 4:58 p.m. Okay? So 4:58 p.m. will, and I had looked it up prior, 4:58 p.m. occurred before the sun went down. Okay? So this is how I was able to get the date from February the 25th to February the 26th. And let me show you that sunrise time. So I got to look at February the 26th. And we got to go to that month. Again, this is for Arad, Israel, February the 26th. So on February the 26th, the sun will be setting. Make sure I got this right. February the 26th, the sun shall be setting at 5:35 p.m. Yes. So 4:58 p.m. of that moon phase is before 5:35 p.m. or when the sun set in Arad, Israel. Okay. Now, these charts are projection. I always highly recommend that you go and observe the heavens for yourself to, confirm that these projections are accurate. Okay. So this month, the 11th month of the Most High calendar will only have 29 days. Okay. Now, the 12th sign of Mazzaroth that the Gentile call today is called Pisces. So the sun shall enter Pisces. And to find Pisces in the heaven circuit is located at the 330 degree. And if you look at the last month, the 10th month, when the sun entered Aquarius, that would be at the 300 degree. They're always 30 degrees difference, okay? Now let me give you some grand totals, okay? Now, I did not put in the moon actual time on this chart, but for those who need it, and I got it from timeanddate.com. For the moon actual time for this month would be 29 days. Okay, 29 days, 14 hours, and 51 minutes. Now, how I was able to figure out the sun actual time, I'll look at the last time the sun entered Mazzaroth, and I do the difference between this time when the sun entered Mazzaroth. That's how I was able to figure it out. So for this month, I got for the sun actual time for number 11 was 28 days, 15 hours, and 8 minutes. So the sun 11 month in the actual time was a total of 28 days, 15 hours, and 8 minutes of what I have so far. Okay. Now let's look at some totals. Okay. Now, so far, the total number of days of the moon, and this is based on looking at the 3 quarters. I'm talking about the first 3 months of the moon, the second 3 months of the moon, and the third 3 months of the moon. Okay. So these numbers would not include these moon and sun days. Okay. It's going from the first month to the 9th month. All right. So from the first month to the 9th month of the moon, we have a total of 265 days. And for the sun, we will have a total of 276 days. Now, notice here, I do keep it with the actual time of the sun and the moon. And that's very important, and you'll see why when we get to the end of this year, if it be the Most High will. So the moon actual grand total time for the third quarter is, for the grand total of these quarters, so the first, second, and third quarter, is 265 days, 19 hours, and 30 minutes. For the sun of the first and second quarter, be a total of 276 days, 1 hour, and 48 minutes. Okay? Now, for the third quarter, the moon total days was 89 days. And its actual time was 89 days, 6 hours, and 42 minutes. The sun's third quarter was a total of 90 days. And the actual time of that was 90 days, 5 hours, and 36 minutes. Now, now for the second and first quarter, I didn't list the actual time. But when we get to the end of the year, we'll talk more about these numbers. I just want to give you the most important thing. So for the second quarter of the moon, you have a total of 88 days. And the second quarter of the sun, you had a total of 93 days. So when you look at the second quarter, dealing with the total from the first to the second quarter, you have a total of 176 days for the moon and 186 days for the sun. Okay. And then looking at the first quarter of the moon, you have a total of 88 days. And for the sun, a total of 93 days. So when you add the first, second, and third quarter of the moon, you add 88 plus 88 plus 89. This is how I was able to get a grand total of 265 days. The same thing with the sun of its first, second, and third quarter. When you add 93 plus 93 plus 90, I get a total of 276 days. Okay, this is very important to keep up with. So this brings us to the end of the report for the 11th month of the Hebrew calendar. Take this time to pause your screen to take a look at this. And I'm going to minimize this so you can see this calendar in its fullness. I'm going to minimize this one more time. All right, my family. I'm trying to get this just right, but it won't act right. Let me just minimize this one more time. All right, my family, continue to preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for we know this is a season for Christ to return. For we are in the seventh day. Excuse me. We are in the seventh day from Adam. And the years from Adam are 7,485. And that is what the Most High has shown me so far. When you convert that to Beta Israel time, that'd be 7,088. Also in Croatian time, that would be 12,485. And in the Jewish people time, who are the sons of Japheth and the sons of Esau, they got 5,777. Now the reason why their number is much lower than the Hebrew years is because they don't believe in Christ. So it's about a 2,000 year difference. So it's very important that you start preaching or telling people about repentance and salvation, because the King of Kings is coming back, and this is the season. Read 2 Esdras chapter 7. And make sure the people receive salvation with their whole heart, as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize them in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah. For wherever there's water, you can be baptized. Read Acts chapter 8 for an example. For we must follow the example of the Lamb, Yahushua HaMashyah. Even Nate Turner, in his confession, did a water baptism. We have to follow the Lamb example. For you must be born of water and of spirit in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So you have to do the carnal, which is the water baptism. And then at the most high appointed time, you shall receive the Holy Spirit baptism. For there is a relationship between the carnal and the spiritual. All right, my fam, I love you all, and Shalom.